On Combos with Cody 18, I have my friend Saralynn on, who lives in London, England. She is known online as Tennis Thirst Trap because she posts tennis content all the time. She has grown her following between Instagram and TikTok to approximately 11,000 followers in about a year. In this discussion, we talk about the business of content, tennis in general, and some world travels. You're not going to want to miss this one. And please like, subscribe, comment, follow, all those good things. Thank you. You are known online as Tennis Thirst Trap. I need to know
Yes.
how you came up with that name.
Of course. So it wasn't my first pick, to be fair. And my caption was, "This is a thirst trap for tennis." And I felt that kind of caught on. And you know how there's just so many thirst trapy Instagram accounts out there? And I figured I wanted something that grabs attention. So we landed on the tennis.thirst trap.
Okay, so what is your experience with tennis going into this whole thing?
I played on and off. I played as a kid. And in London, I just wanted something to do. I wanted something to do outside of drinking. So I got into tennis, and I would say nothing consistent, but, a little bit here and there.
So you were a recreational player growing up?
Yes, recreational player.
Okay, so where is it that you see your tennis going now? Like, are you trying to maybe play more competitive, or is it just, as you said, a recreational thing, gets you outside and something that you enjoy?
Well, I'm hoping to go to Wimbledon. No, that's a
Really?
complete lie. Definitely not at my age.
Well, I saw something about Wimbledon in the last month, so I didn't know what the avenue was.
It's funny because I was at Wimbledon qualifying, and I happened to have my racket with me, and I was wearing white, and I was going in with one of the coach. So everybody thought I was a player and started, asking how my day went. Am I going to the actual Wimbledon? So I had like a little bit of glory as a player, but I'm far from being a player. So I guess all it is that I just want to be really good at tennis. I'm just trying to improve.
So that resonates with me because I feel like any hobby pretty much that I have, it's always something that I want to actually be able to see myself get better at. So one of my hobbies when I was a kid was playing video games. I have not played video games now in about 5.5 years. And there basically came a point where I said, you know what? Netflix and video games don't really do it for me anymore. I want to do something that I can see myself get better at. So for me, that's playing electric guitar. For you, that's tennis. And I love that. But why did you first start making tennis content specifically?
Yeah, I actually didn't start first making tennis content specifically. I tried out all sorts of content, traveling, beauty, any types of little tips. And it's when I did a tennis camp review, that's when the video really hit. It got a lot of reviews. I got a lot of views, a lot of likes, and people were very interested in learning more about this tennis camp. And that's when I thought, hey, maybe there's something here. So let's do a few more videos on tennis. And that's where it started.
Okay, so you experimented a bit and then you found on something that kind of hit and you also happen to like what that was. So then you're like, okay,
Exactly.
well, let's just keep doing that. And that was how long ago?
That was a year ago. So I started that account. My first video was April 2026. And I probably posted my first tennis video in July, August-ish.
Okay, so I think that you meant 25, right? Because that would have
Yes,
been over a year
25,
ago.
25,
That's okay.
2025.
Okay, so we met in person. We met for the first time in London in June of 25. So you had
Yes.
just kind of started at that point. When I was looking at your various accounts before we hopped on this call, from what I can tell between Instagram and TikTok, you have approximately 11,000 followers. Is that about right?
Yeah,
If you add both of
correct.
them. Okay. Do you use
Yes.
any other platforms other than those two?
No, these are the only platforms I am on right now. I find that's enough to kind of occupy my time. I would love to be on YouTube, but that's just another avenue I need to get on.
Yeah, I have gotten more into YouTube in the last year. here's the thing. I love it, and I will still do travel videos. I shot a bunch of content when I was in Florida with my family for 2 months, and I've still been I started working on the video. I've been sitting on it. Here's the problem. There's a lot of friction with YouTube in terms of time with editing and so forth, right? And I want to come back to the technical component in terms of how you produce your content and so forth. But I actually want to start with more of a basic question is from what I've seen, it seems like you shoot a lot of your stuff by yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what's your setup like? You go to the tennis court. I assume you bring a tripod probably for your phone, or just explain to me your normal technical setup when you go to actually shoot your tennis content.
It's very simple. It's just my phone and tripod. Recently, I've got a gimbal that follows me around as I play, but that's it.
Okay, so when you say you have, can you elaborate on that? You say you have a gimbal. So is the gimbal with your phone?
So it kind of comes with this. Do I have it here? I have it here. Let me see. So this is what it looks like, right? And you put your phone on it and it just tracks your face. So when you're moving around the court, it knows exactly where you are. So you're not out of the frame. This is the only, I guess, techie equipment I have. But otherwise, I think iPhone is more than enough.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just bring it back up just for the camera. So I have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It has similar tracking technology
Right.
that you can use, but look, I love that camera and it's great for vlog style videos, but you don't need to have a fancy camera.
Yeah.
As you
No,
said, you're shooting on an iPhone, and
you
I in
really
the last
don't. Yeah.
year, right? Like you've built up quite a bit. So I've noticed some of your videos. It looks like you're with is it an instructor?
Correct. Yes. So luckily, through my account, I was able to meet a lot of tennis coaches who are willing to offer me some tips and offer me some lessons. So I've been working with a coach.
Okay, so you do some content where it's like you're with your coach and maybe it's like you're working on something. I've also seen you do some content, I think it's with the wraps of your racket.
Hmm.
Okay, so explain the different because I've seen numerous videos of you with the wraps. So are you just showing different wraps or what's the purpose behind the actual gear side of the tennis content?
You know what? I don't even get it because my grip videos do the best. My best,
This is
my
why I'm
most
asking.
viewed video is a grip video. And all of them consistently hit a lot of engagement, a lot of views. And what I think is because, first of all, it's very aesthetically pleasing. People like the ASMR aspect. And also, you don't need to play tennis to kind of enjoy these videos. So I think it reaches a wider audience rather than kind of, niche tennis content. I continue doing them because I like changing my grips. It's almost like changing my outfit, and it gets a lot of people going.
Okay, so you mentioned the fits, and that's something else I had to ask because I've seen some other videos where and I've seen honestly over the last few months, I've seen so many of them, they all kind of blend. But the point is, and I know that I'm not a tennis player. I'm lucky to be able to keep the ball in play. I've barely played tennis in
Yeah.
my life. Okay. But from what I do know about following tennis, I would say maybe similar to golf in a sense that the outfit, because in an individual sport, you have more control over what you can wear, right? You're not wearing a team uniform, let's say, in, I don't know, hockey. Okay. So the fit for a golfer or for a tennis player, right, is kind of part of the shtick. So do you have like a different, like, are you theme based or how do you go about picking the fits? Because I know like in some places, like I think in Wimbledon, you have to wear white, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So explain to me and to anyone that's maybe not as into tennis as you, like explain me maybe whether it's like the rules of different tennis fits and so or however like whatever your inspiration is behind all those videos.
Yeah, of course. So there are a few clubs in London where you have to wear white. So obviously, that's when I get a bunch of white tennis outfits. And I think for me, I really like athleisure wear, and it's a form of self-expression. I think that wearing, if you're on clay courts, you probably wouldn't be wearing white because it'll just get really dirty. So part of it is making it quite practical, and part of it is just experimenting different outfits and see what I like.
Have you had, and I want to get into the business side of content here, any brands reach out to you or vice versa in the last year that maybe you've either worked with already or have maybe loosely talked about working with?
Yeah, I have. A few brands reached out during Wimbledon season because everybody wanted to get on the train. I've worked with a few brands. I'm currently working with UK's largest tennis app.
Tennis
Yeah.
app, you said.
Yes. So
So
this, go on.
no, I was just gonna say, what does the app, like, what does it track? Scores, or explain to me what the app does?
Yeah, of course. So I think as a casual recreational player, it's often quite hard to find courts or people to play with. You also don't really get tournament opportunities. So what this app does is that it helps you find people around you that you can play tennis with. You can join a recreational league, single and doubles. So it makes tennis so much more accessible than your old tennis clubs.
Interesting. Okay, so you said that it was an app, and then did you? And if you don't want to say or whatever, that's fine. You said there were other brands, but it wasn't apps, right? Like it might have been gear or.
Yeah, I've had beauty brands reach out. I have a lot of fashion brands reach out for collaboration. All sorts.
So, is it a fair statement at this point to say that you've monetized your social media?
You can say that, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm at a point where it can replace a full-time salary. They are far and few in between and very seasonal.
So seasonal. I mean, you said when Wimbledon kind of creeps up, I guess that's when people start to scramble, right? So in London specifically, obviously during the summer, tennis is a big thing, but the winters in London, for example, don't get as cold as Toronto. So how do the seasons work, I guess, within the tennis scene in terms of when it's kind of hot and not?
You know what? I've yet to kind of really experience winter because when I first started account, that was winter. I barely had any traction, so not much was happening. So I guess I'll find out this winter, but I probably would imagine there'd be too much activity, to be fair. So I need to start kind of brainstorming about what are some other ways I can monetize or keep this tennis going during the winter months.
Okay, now and fair enough, you said that you've monetized, but not to an extent where it would replace a job, and that's fair. But where do you see this going for you, whether it's a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now?
Yeah, that's really hard to say, and I ask myself that question every single day. Where is this going? But I think right now what I'm focused on is I want to get better at tennis. This is the whole reason why this account started. I want to work with different brands. I really want to build build an audience that trusts me, a loyal following because um I think building a loyal audience that follows you, then it doesn't matter what you do. What if one day I don't want to play tennis anymore? I'm hoping to retain that audience when I change and grow as a person. So that's the two things I'm focused on: getting better and building a following.
First time that you had discussions with a brand, did they reach out to you or did you reach out to them?
So all the deals I've had so far, it's been incoming. So they would reach out to me.
So they just come across your stuff, send you a DM, and they say, "Hey, do you want to work with us on X project?"
Yeah, I think I make my contact quite clear, whether it's on my Instagram or TikTok. I have clearly have my email address there. I do get a lot of DMs, messages, and that's how they contact me and reach out.
Does it not seem crazy how what started as you taking a hobby that you want to get better at, and you're like, "I'm just gonna start recording it and putting it out there."
Exactly. Yeah,
And
no, and
now
it's actually crazy to think about.
yeah, and now you have companies cold reaching out to you
For
to
sure,
work with you.
definitely, yeah. How I see it is that no one's watching TV commercials anymore. All information, all types of media we're consuming is on our phone. So it kind of makes sense why brands are, leveraging these creators, because they usually have a very targeted audience, and generally the people that follow the followers trust their opinion. So it does make sense for brands to um, work with these creators.
When you got that first lead to work with a company, do you remember what your reaction was when you saw it in your inbox?
Yeah, definitely. I think actually the first one is through a mutual friend, and I'm very, very grateful because he took a chance on me. That's when I probably only had 1,000 or 2,000 followers. I did, just a few videos for him and did really well. So I was very grateful, and that kind of opened the door and kind of got my first experience of what's it like working with a brand.
Do you remember when you first started to post your tennis content, maybe being nervous or scared about putting it out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I started on TikTok because not a lot of my friends are on TikTok. So I felt like it was an easier way to ease myself in, comfortable in front of a camera. And then what I thought to myself is that people that genuinely are your friends will support you no matter what you do. So if it's the cringiest content, they'll say hit like and give you a follow. So why should I worry about you know censoring myself because I'm worried about what someone else is going to think, and that person is not even my friend. So I felt like I quickly got over the fear of posting, and I'm I will say that I'm not embarrassed of my content. So if people, show me my video, yeah, these are the things I genuinely enjoy and I believe in. Tennis is something that I actually, I want to get better at. So I think everything I put out there, it's been real. So it doesn't feel like I'm putting on a show or it's like cringy to myself.
Have you made any new friends in the tennis community just by finding each other online?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been going to a lot of tennis socials in London, and the tennis
Cool.
community you're gonna find is actually very small. So everybody kind of knows each other. You see the same faces all the time. I've had people who are visiting London who follows my account, DMs me looking for a hit, and we met up, had a great hit. It's actually very surprising how, how you can just connect with people around the world, and I think that's very special.
It's amazing how when you meet people online and then you actually convert it into an in-person group session. And
Totally,
it's like,
totally. You kind of forget that they're behind these numbers is a real person.
well,
So,
do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
no, who's that?
You should if you're a content creator. Actually,
Okay.
just when you're done this,
Gary.
go look
Let
up
me Google
Gary
it.
V.
Gary
Oh,
V.
just Gary V. He's
Okay.
the ultimate content guru. And
Sure. Okay.
he often says how people will forget. So let's just say you say to me, "Oh, that video flopped. It only got 500 views." Okay. He often says, "You're forgetting what 500 looks like. You're forgetting that
Absolutely.
if you stood up in, let's say, a school gymnasium or something, and you did a speech in front of 500 people, would you not feel a little overwhelmed?" And
Totally.
that
Yeah.
so okay. What is your most viewed video so far, if you happen to know just approximately, how many views did it get?
It was 1.9 million, which is a
Okay,
number I cannot even grasp.
okay.
you know.
So, and is that on one platform or the cumulative total?
It's on TikTok. It's one video.
Okay. So, how does it feel then when I say to you, and again, this is just building off of something that Gary often talks about. If you I mean, that's not even realistic, a stadium with 1.9 million people. So that's like me saying to you that you're gonna go and do a live stream, and I mean, 1.9 million, that beats a lot of TV ratings for sport events and so forth. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, but I guess it's just you don't think about it, right? These numbers don't really mean much to me. But it is very, it's I guess it's in a way reassuring to be like, okay, you're actually putting out things that people are watching, so and people are sharing. So that is a bit of encouragement, I would say.
So when you start to see that traction build up in terms of views and maybe you're adding followers and you're getting leads from companies and so forth, because I wanted to circle back onto the business discussion too. When now you said that that first company you worked with was through a friend, so maybe that's not the
Hmm.
best example. So let's just talk about maybe another lead that you had. It was cold. You didn't know anyone at the company. They came to you. In terms of negotiation or whatever, in terms of whatever it is that you agreed to do for them for whatever, what I find a lot of people struggle with, especially if they don't have a business sense going into content creation, is how to negotiate. And I often see posts about creators getting taken advantage of by big companies. I will actually say, keeping it anonymous, of course, as a lawyer, I have had a creator friend come to me for legal advice where there was a very well known hotel brand that was, in my opinion, blatantly trying to take advantage of someone. So I've seen this before. Did it, do you feel maybe frazzled in terms of maybe how to price yourself, or is this a fair do you know where I'm going with this? Like, did you ever
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
overwhelmed, or maybe you're shooting in the dark a bit?
Absolutely. I have zero idea where I'm pricing myself, right? If people is asking for an engagement. But I think after having a few brand deals, I kind of know my market rate. And from there, I do a bit of research, being like, people around similar kind of following, similar kind of engagement, what is the normal rate? I think, with AI, it has luckily become a lot easier. And then it's just a lot of trial and error. I give a number. If the worst thing is that they come back with something lower.
Here's my word of advice to you as a lawyer, and I've
Okay.
negotiated settlements. I've negotiated settlements for I don't do much of that, but I have negotiated settlements for clients. I When I did a personal injury, when I worked at a law firm, I've been involved in these discussions. The first number, especially if they're coming out with the offer, there's always, in my
There's
opinion,
always room.
there's always more. There's
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I
there's
think
always more.
it's definitely scary, right? Because you're doing your first deal. You don't want to pitch yourself too high. And I think the part of me is always like, oh, I only have, 5,000 followers. Why, who am I to charge you this crazy amount? So you kind of always talk yourself down, but having done a few deals, I know where I stand, and that gives me a lot more confidence to push back.
That's great. I'm gonna give you another
Yeah.
example from Gary Vee.
Okay.
Sorry, I digest a
No,
lot
go
of
for
his
it.
content, and I highly recommend at some point you check him out. So he now gets paid, and he talks about this. He's like, "I get paid," this is US dollars, like $400,000 to go give a 1-hour keynote speech. I'm being dead serious, okay? And he talks about the first time that he got paid to do a speech, and whoever this company was, said, "Well, how much do you want?" And he had no idea what to answer. So he just made up a number. He's like 10 grand. And they very quickly said yes. And he said to himself, that's when he realized that he underpriced himself because he got a yes on that number so quickly. And he thought to himself, who am I to charge 10 grand to to do a 1-hour speech, etc. And then he later found out, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit, but that they usually pay people like 40 grand to do the same thing, and that he was a sucker and took like a quarter of the rate. So anyway, it's kind of part of the trial and error, right? Where it's like you
Okay.
might throw out a number, and yeah, like you might get a no on that one, or they might push back with something less. But then what if maybe the next time you kind of push yourself a bit, you might get a yes,
Course. Yeah, yeah, totally.
right?
I think it's strategic to get the other person naming their price first, you know, hoping that they name something that you're thinking of.
Yeah, I find that it can be tough. Would you say that maybe it's almost like imposter syndrome settling in when you're in those negotiations?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
because I've been doing this for a year. It's that's very new to a job, you know. If you think of a regular job, a year is a junior. So you definitely are coming in being like, who is paying me to do this? A lot of
Yeah.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And I remember, so I started my own law practice now. We're coming up on 2.5 years. Okay. And the way that I value my time now compared to when I started has changed significantly.
For sure.
It's like, because even when you start, okay, so let's just say you get your first brand deal, whatever they're offering to pay you X pounds, I guess, to do it. And your first thought is probably, I started making videos on a tennis court, and now someone's offering me however little it or big it, whatever, but it's your first one, right? And you're thinking like, now someone's offering me X to just post. And I don't know what it was you did, but I'll make this up. Like to put like a 1-minute video together. You know what I'm saying? Like where that first time you do it, you ask yourself, is this actually happening?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very nice surprise, but however, I do know I pour so much of my time and effort in this video, so I absolutely understand the value. What you see is a 40-second video that's
Yeah.
taken me at least 2 hours, 2 to 3
Yeah.
hours, you know,
Oh, yeah.
to put, and that's not even including the time I'm on court. So when you put it
Yeah.
together, kind of price it out, it does make sense that these brands are paying whatever rate is, you know, the going rate that's for. So, I think, yeah, as once again, it's trial and error, right? The more you do it, the more you understand where you stand, how much is your time worth.
Have you gotten to know other content creators, whether they're in the tennis space or not, that maybe you're able to reach out to and say, hey, I'm in this negotiation. Do you think this is fair? Or do you just kind of keep it to yourself? And I know you use AI. Before you answer, I use AI for quotes in my business all the time. So I kind of know how to work, but I think having someone in the industry could be helpful.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, and I think I should do it more. I've had people reach out to me who are kind of in in the tennis space asking what my going rate is, and I tell them, you know, really straight up. And I think you're right. It's probably a conversation I need to have more.
Do you have people that maybe aren't as experienced as you, or maybe haven't even started, that will send you a message and say, hey, how do I get started doing this? Or maybe you're not at that stage yet.
I think I've had people that are interested in doing more tennis content reach out to me, being like, you know, how did you do it? Um, and I tell them there isn't one video that got me, you know, 5,000 followers. It's it's these 200 videos I put out, you know, and I feel like, yes, you need to create quality content, but a lot of it is quantity comes down to. You don't know what's going to hit, especially with TikTok, something super random. My regrips, I never thought it would get 1.9 million videos, but it did. So it's just trial and error, trying different things, get the quantity out there. There's no point. I just feel like before you make your first 100 videos, you don't really know what you're doing.
I think that's very fair. And I've recognized that content has become a volume game. I 100% agree with what you just said. It doesn't have to be super polished and fancy nowadays to hit. Have
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
had a video that maybe you didn't think was going to do anything and you're like, well, why is this doing so well?
For sure. I find videos that the videos I just talk to a camera about my thoughts on tennis, they do really well in terms of views because I think people relate to this casualness and also is just honest thoughts. Whereas, you know, some videos I spend hours and hours editing might get 300 views. So again, it's just trying different things, following the formats that's going to work. But at the same time, you know, I think these videos that get 300 views are there for me to learn, and it's kind of paving the way for me to be better and get these videos that, you know, create more videos that are engaging and interesting to watch. So they're definitely crucial. They're there for a reason.
It's become apparent to me that volume is so important because, as you said, Saralynn, you have to come up with an idea, do the rep, and then learn from it, iterate, and now do the next one. And sometimes you could put a lot of work into one video and then it may quote flop. And then you can kind of get hung up. It's like, oh, well, what do I do next? So right now I'm doing it. It's a public speaking challenge, 100 days. I have
Yes,
to.
I've seen that challenge before, and I
You've seen
watch
the
your videos.
challenge.
Yes.
Okay. So have you seen other people's videos, not mine? Do you know that it, like, it's a thing, right? Like, it's not what
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to
know
say
it's a
is it's
thing.
not just me.
Yes, 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 yes. I know. I've seen people do, gain thousands of followers from doing that challenge.
Okay, so I'm on, I think today is day 57, okay?
Well done.
S so for 57, because I haven't done it yet, so like, I'll do it, I actually have another podcast discussion later today, but I'm gonna shoot my daily video somewhere in between, and it took me 46 straight days of doing it for the most part of people not giving a shit, okay? Aside from a couple videos that I did on hydration breaks at the World Cup, which, oh my god. I dipped my toes into some hot water with those videos. I don't care because I knew what I was getting into. But it took 46 straight days of me posting videos of me talking for 60 seconds or more to go viral. So I went viral about a week and a half ago with
Congrats.
yeah, so it was actually really crazy how it happened. Basically, I went to the Motley Crue concert, which if you don't know is a big 80s metal band. They're kind of, they're getting up there. But their drummer, Tommy Lee, who was married to Pamela Anderson, he's like an A-list rock star. Like he's done everything. For some reason, he came across my video and he commented on it. And that video, again, like for me, first time really kind of, I guess doing this, having a viral hit, like I think now it has across TikTok and Meta, I think 330,000 views in about a week and a
Nice.
half, which, I'm
Awesome.
not at the million like you yet. I've never done one of those, but it was just crazy because it's like I did a video. I knew I was speaking to fans of a certain artist, but it never crossed my mind that someone from the band was actually going to see my video.
That's awesome.
Right? And then so when that comment so he put a comment on my video because I not harshly, but the singer, like, they're at what, close to 70, right? So I made a comment about the singer's vocals just being like, oh, like I could tell that they lowered his vocals a bit on certain songs, but for the most part, it didn't, it's not like it bothered me being at the concert. So Tommy just kind of said that the singer was having like a nasal infection. So when I saw that he commented on my video, I'm like, oh my God. So for the first time, I tried the reply with a reel feature on Instagram. Do you know what that
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I tried that and I replied with a reel and I basically just asked Tommy Lee a question. Like I made a reel just and it's funny because when I did it, and I hadn't launched my podcast yet, but when I did the video, I said, okay, this is the game. Like this is you doing pretend that you have Tommy on your podcast and you get to ask him one question. So that was my mentality making the video. And not only did he comment on the video and follow me, but he commented with a massive paragraph that probably took him 4 or 5 minutes to draft. So
Wow.
I
What did he
guess
say?
oh, okay. So my question was, okay, so he was on the Joe Rogan podcast a little over a month ago, and actually I went back and watched his appearance on, Theo Vaughn's podcast from almost 2 years ago, and he actually talked about the same thing. So, like, Tommy's had a lot of problems with drugs and, like, just stuff that rock stars would have, and anyway, so he has this new obsession with bonsai trees. Do you know, like, the little
Yeah, yeah, I
bonsai
know the
trees?
bonsai, yeah.
Okay. He has, I think, 38 of them,
No way.
and, like, so his change of pace from going from metal music and obviously being super amped up is him and his wife being like, okay, I'm going to spend X hours just shaping and cultivating my trees. And anyway, he had a whole discussion with Joe about this. And one of my best friends and I at the time, this was, as I said, this was like end of June. We were I could pull up the text. We were texting like, this bonsai tree obsession is just so weird. And I thought to myself, okay, well, if I get to ask Tommy one question, I'm not going to ask him about music because everyone gets to ask him about that. So I want to ask him about something obscure because I think it would give a higher chance of him replying.
Yeah, cool.
So
Yeah.
sorry, I know that like I'm rambling a bit with this story, but the point is you just never know who your content's going to reach.
You never know. I've heard this really cool quote that said, you don't post for followers, you post for opportunities, which is exactly what happened, I guess, to a lot of people. Like, to me, I definitely didn't think I would be working with this tennis app. I didn't think a lot of these brands that would reach out, but it's putting yourself out there. You really open up for people to reach to you.
Well, think about this. There are so many things that you could do with your online brand between now and Wimbledon in 27 where you having some sort of crazy opportunity next year when Wimbledon comes around, I honestly don't think is that far out of the question for you.
I hope so. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Like, but
Wimbledon for
point is,
sure.
Saralynn, you just don't know, like, who it's gonna reach. As you said, you
Exactly.
don't know what opportunities are gonna come out of it, like. And another thing I wanted to ask you about is you travel a lot, right? Do you are able to work remotely?
Yes, I can work remotely 3 months out of the year.
Okay, so I've seen some videos. I think I saw one. Were you in Chiang Mai?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so because I went there 3 years ago, loved it and everything.
Love it.
When you and the reason why I'm asking this is I've seen you do tennis videos while traveling. Okay. So when you travel, do you now think, okay, I'm going to X city a month from now? How, like, do you start to strategize in your head? Okay, how can I shoot tennis content in this city? I need to start looking up courts or clubs. Is there someone I can reach out to and say, hey, like I have this following. Can I come use your facility? Do you know where I'm going with this question?
Yes, yes. I not necessarily. However, I will say I go I love Chiang Mai because I think they have great tennis facilities and tennis is part of my daily life. Even if I'm not shooting content, I will be playing. So a lot of times I happen to spend longer time in places that have tennis courts. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that because I enjoy tennis, it's not forceful. And I don't think I can keep up a count that I didn't
Mm.
enjoy. You know, these are 300 videos, if not more, later doing something that I don't enjoy. That's impossible to keep up. So I'm very lucky that I travel a lot and I like to go to places that have great tennis facilities, and I also get to film my content.
I think I can relate to you similarly because in the recent times that I've started this podcast, I actually I texted quite a few of my friends just over the last few days when they might listen to an episode or whatever. And I say to them, it's so easy for me to work on this. It feels so natural. It doesn't feel like work. There was actually a point last week when I was putting off legal work that, like, if I did it, like, and I'm being serious, like if I chose to do this legal work on a particular day, it's like I can pay myself from trust and get money. And I found myself actually procrastinating on the legal work, being like, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I want to do podcast stuff." You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
totally.
It's like if it's fun, it's like I heard. Okay, Mr. Beast actually went on Rogan again a few weeks ago, and he talked about something called the heartbeat effect. And I resonated with this instantly because I knew exactly what he's talking about. You know, when you kind of get that heart, like your heart starts racing a bit because you're thinking about something that excites you. I've learned that when you start to, and sometimes it's easy to confuse it, excuse me, with being anxious. But it's like when your heart starts racing, or like when you have trouble falling asleep at night, that because you're thinking about something that excites you, like that's such an amazing sign. So for you, you're like, well, I'm gonna play tennis anyway. I'm just gonna throw up a tripod and record and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people are so obsessed with, my passion, finding the passion. I wasn't born in this world to be like, I want to be a tennis player. But, you know, the more I guess as an adult, the more I play, the more I'm obsessed with it. And it slowly, yeah, it did become like a passion. And I think a lot of times you have to try different things to find things that you enjoy, something that you can keep doing at it for a long time.
When we were talking about consistency earlier, do you post a video every day?
Not every day. I give myself minimum 3 videos a week. That is what I need to
Minimum.
hit.
Okay. I think that's a good number, especially when you've already found what it is that you want to do. For me, I now, yeah, like the whole podcasting thing is relatively, I guess new, but I'm still in that phase, at least in terms of like my daily challenge videos, which I think in terms of consistency, I think I will always or try to post every day or almost every day. I'm not going to keep the same format forever. It's just a temporary thing. But I find that staying consistent, whatever that is to you and to me, is very important because it gets your brain in the habit of doing it. Like, do you know how easy it is when you say, "Oh, I'm not going to post today," and then it becomes 2 days, and then it becomes 3
Absolutely,
days?
yeah.
Do you know where I'm
Yeah.
going with that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I set myself, at first was hard, I can't even think of 3 video ideas. And now, this is non-negotiable. 3 videos minimum. It's not crazy. I do have a full-time job, so I keep in mind that, I need to kind of balance both. And 3, I find, is kind of the number where I can be consistent and it still is producing, it's getting myself out there and seeing, yeah, getting myself out there, I guess.
Is the biggest friction point for you editing?
Oh, absolutely. If I could outsource that, I 100% would. But I find a lot of, because sometimes I have these 20 minutes tennis footage and I have no idea what video I'm going to make about. So it's important to kind of go through this editing process to then find what is the value of this video. So yes, editing is exhausting, but it's also part of the creative process, I would say.
It is. I think with your style of videos when you're on the court and stuff, I feel like you'd probably tell me that those videos take you longer to edit than when you maybe post a 25, 40-second clip of you putting your thoughts out there, just talking.
Yeah, for sure. They take way longer, the ones on court, yeah. But what benefit of watching yourself play is that you actually get to improve. You see your mistakes. So it's a win-win.
How do you find video performance is for you on court versus maybe talking to the camera?
I find that the talking to the camera do so much better. However, I don't want to give up the ones I'm playing on court because this is the whole reason why I started this tennis video. And you find that people who genuinely care about tennis really do enjoy those videos. So I continue them because it's part of the identity.
Yeah. I think honestly, for people like you and I and anyone else that undergoes a creative process like this, if you view the landscape where the sky is your limit, I think it allows your creativity to just run wild. When you start putting these limiting beliefs on like, oh, like, am I good enough to this? Or oh, is this a terrible idea? It's like, I'll give you an example. Like with the speaking challenge that I'm doing, the beautiful thing about it, Saralynn, is no matter how the video performs today, I'm making another one tomorrow. It's like
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter.
It does not matter.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, whether it's the content that you do or the content that I do, part of it for me is just practicing making myself feel uncomfortable. Do you relate to that?
Yeah, definitely. Getting yourself out there. I was so nervous when I first had to film myself on court. I felt so awkward. People watching me, putting my camera out there when I'm not even that good at tennis. Like, what am I doing here? But then now it's like, yeah, it's just part of what I do. It's just the more reps you put in, the more normalized it seems. Like, of course I'm gonna set up my video, instead of have my camera here. What are
Has
you looking
anyone
at? Yeah.
No, fair enough. Has
Yeah.
anyone ever recognized you that you didn't know and said, "Hey, I saw one of your TikToks," or something like
You know what? Surprisingly, a lot of times I've been recognized so many times. I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. I was at the pharmacy once and this nurse pulls me aside. I was like, oh shit, like I'm at the wrong area of the hospital. She's like, no, I watch your tennis videos. I've had people on the tube pull me, being like, oh my gosh, I've seen your videos. And obviously people on tennis courts recognize me. So it's surprising. I think the tennis community comes down to it is small, so you often get to meet a lot of familiar faces.
the pharmacy example, was that the first time or is that just an example that immediately came to mind?
That's a recent one, which I was absolutely taken aback because she was like in her scrub, so I thought like she's gonna
Mm,
take me somewhere or something's about to happen, but she's like, no, I watched your videos.
how do you describe that feeling?
It's very humbling because they're often so nice. They're like, oh, you really inspire me to play. And it just kind of reminds me why I do this because London tennis scenes can be so snobby, and
Mm.
people, you and I, want to get into it. We want to play because we enjoy the game, but we don't really know where to go or who to play with. And this account exactly started because I wanted to play more as a recreational player. I want, as someone who's not that good at tennis, how do I improve? So it is very, yeah, it is really nice and humbling to have people talk to you.
Let's explore the other end of the spectrum, just for
Yes.
fun. What is, and of course, when I ask this question, I mean within the scope of what you maybe care to share. Do you recall maybe, how do I want to phrase this? I was going to
Hate
ask you
comments? Are you gonna
I was
say?
going to ask you what's the worst comment that you've
Oh my
gotten,
gosh,
but
so many. I would love to get into it.
okay, yeah, like let's. I mean,
Yeah, of
when
course.
I said
I
the
think,
worst video, it could also be maybe one that you actually just laughed at. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
however you want to answer the question, Saralynn, is up to you.
No, of course. The most recent experience is that I posted a video about the icks in tennis, and it got so many hates, man. I'm just getting dragged left, right, and center. People are like, and then people would become really personal as well. They would look at my videos being like, you have a footwork of a stump, so who are you to speak? Like, wow, it's like, there's one thing to criticize my opinions. It is another thing to kind of go into my videos and criticize my tennis. Cause yeah, I'm not pro. I'm just trying here. Um, it's hard. Like when I first saw it, it's an absolute shock. And I was like, probably really upset. I was definitely very upset in like the first 24 hours. And then I was like, okay, well, I was talking to Claude, of course, my best friend Claude, being like, how do I view this in a more positive way? And Claude said, if you look at all your metrics, right, across your likes, your comments, what's the proportion of hate comments versus likes and engagement? And yeah, it's like 4 times more people liking it than these negative comments. But these negative things tend to stick in our heads a lot more, and you notice it a lot more. So why don't I put my attention on these positives rather than give all my attention to these negatives? And then I just started deleting these hate comments because I don't want to see it. I don't have the mental space for it. It doesn't need to exist on my page. And you have to realize the same momentum that gets these hate comments is the same momentum that pushes this video. So you only made it because you get hate comments.
It's true. I'm gonna, maybe annoyingly to you, refer to Gary Vee for a third time in this
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay. What do you say? Tell me.
It all changed for me when I heard Gary say that people's hateful comments are them just projecting their insecurities onto you.
Oh, so that guy has stumpy footwork.
Potentially. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple of examples. Well, one, I post videos of myself on occasion playing guitar. It's just for fun. Like, I'm
Hmm.
never gonna sell an arena, and I know that. The last few that I've posted, I actually haven't gotten them, but there's definitely been times people are basically telling me I'm shit at guitar. It's like it's like I never said I was great. I've just
Yeah.
posted a video of me playing. I think that whether it's in your case or in my case with the example I just gave, so for me, there might be someone out there who is legitimately better than me at playing guitar, but they don't have the confidence to put themselves out there. So they can't reconcile why someone who is not as good as them has the confidence to put themselves out there. So I
Yeah.
think it might be
That's
something
probably
similar
it.
to you with tennis.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I think yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
And that's the only way you can look at it. I mean, I'll give you another quick example. It's like with the whole World Cup hydration breaks thing, when I started to post, like I posted one video saying I don't understand the big deal. And then the next day I posted a video of the complete contrary opinion, which is a classic law school exercise, by the way. And because I just wanted to see how people reacted. Like that's the only reason why I wanted to do it. I'm not a big soccer/football fan. I just wanted to see what happened. And if you go and look at actually either of the videos, especially on my TikTok, it's like everyone's basically telling me I'm a stupid American. Like, go look at all the times I reply to comments, I'm not American, I'm not American, I'm not American. It's like
Yeah.
your whole hate is based on me being American. And then when I tell you that I'm not American, I guess by default, your whole argument is defeated. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But what made it easy for me, Saralynn, to get beyond those hateful comments was the arguments that I presented in my videos, I had zero emotional attachment to. I didn't even actually fully agree with what I was saying. I was just presenting an argument. So it's like when people start making personal attacks on me, it's like, I have no emotional connection to what I'm saying. So in your instance, it's like, okay, yeah, like you like tennis, okay, and you want to get better at tennis, but you, to me, don't value your self-worth on how good you are at tennis. Do you see
No,
how I'm
definitely
trying to, like,
not.
talk
Yeah.
this through with
Yeah.
you to be like how you
Yeah.
detach these things?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not a pro tennis player, and I clearly state that, I'm very much a beginner, so you tell me I'm shit. Yeah, of course. No shit.
Saralynn, I just wanna ask you on well, 2 more questions. I'm gonna ask you about something just off the board first, and then I'm gonna come back to a content question to end it. You and I both like to travel. What are your well, I won't even give you it could be top 3, top 5, just top whatever places that come to mind that you've been to in the world.
Been to in the world
Yeah, that like
that I love.
visited,
Yeah.
lived, whatever.
Um, so I really enjoy long, extended traveling. I spend because I can work remotely, I've been spending my time in Thailand and Chiang Mai specifically. I think it has a great digital nomad community. It's the part of Thailand that is not absolutely price inflated because everywhere you go in Thailand is actually so expensive now. And I think it
Really?
preserves, yeah, so expensive. All the islands, crazy. It's like London prices for
No.
accommodation. Yeah, I was shocked
I was there
how
6
expensive it's
years ago. I
gotten.
lived like a king.
Yeah. But Chiang Mai, I think because it's not nearby a beach, people maybe it hasn't really got like, it just has not really inflated that much over the years. And I think it still has a lot of local culture. So I think Chiang Mai is definitely a top one. I've been back there in the past 2 years and I want to go again, stay at the same place, be at a co-living, co-working space. But I was like, I need to try something else.
Have you been to Pai yet?
I have.
Oh.
It's fun. It's a good time. It's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place. I just remember I stayed at a great Airbnb because they don't I think all the accommodations in Pai or it's hard to find one with air conditioning, and I was there at the end of June/early July, and it actually wasn't that bad. But I remember I stayed in at this Airbnb that was kind of like these huts on stilts, and if you wanted to walk from the town, it was about 30 minutes. But, I ended up getting linked up with a taxi service there because I remember reading online that there are these stray dogs around Pi, and
Really?
you don't like yeah, like, you don't wanna go near them, like, they're aggressive, like, they're and when I was a kid, I was pretty afraid of dogs. I'm a lot better now, but anyway, bear that in mind if you ever go back to Pi. Don't go near the stray dogs. Anywhere else in the world that comes to mind other than Chiang Mai?
I love Prague. I thought Prague was so I don't know, I thought I was expecting maybe just like a little European city, but it was so beautiful. The party scene's amazing. Everybody was really nice. Um, I think it's very underrated, Prague. Maybe it is rated, but Prague is a top one for me.
I went there on a hockey trip when I was 14. Yeah, so it was
Okay,
a
what'd you
while
think?
ago. Beautiful. We were
Yeah,
there
so
in
beautiful.
January, like, it wasn't that cold, like, it's winter, but it
Mhm.
wasn't that cold, and what a pretty place. I remember they had that clock with it's like an astronomy clock or something like that. Remember what I'm talking about?
Astronomer. I don't remember.
Like
It's been a
it's
while
like
for me, yeah.
it's like a church something. Anyway, there's this really
Mhm.
cool clock there that I remember. The last question I just wanted to ask you is maybe for anyone out there that's just starting or wants to start, what do you wish you knew about content creation that you know now, maybe when you started, that could have made you better more quickly?
It's a very good question. Um, I guess I can give something more technical and something a bit more philosophical. The technical thing I found recently, it's been really working for me, is a trial reel. That's on Instagram where it pushes your videos to non-followers. So you can really take the freedom, try different hooks, try different themes, maybe do something that's completely out of your normal videos and just see how how it gains traction. And I think content comes down to it, it's like a very experimental game. You don't know what's going to work. You have to try different things. So that's one technical thing. Something philosophical. I I think it's just, it's nothing. I feel like a lot of people are looking for what's the secret sauce of, gaining followers, what's the secret sauce of going viral. And there isn't any. The answer is reps. You have to put in the videos. It took me maybe 500 videos to get to where I am, and it probably will take a lot more to get to where I want to be. And I absolutely accept that because there is no shortcuts to content.
I echo that. As
Yeah.
someone, I think this will be episode, I'm not sure exactly where I am in the sequence here. This will be episode either 18 or 19, okay, for me, our conversation here. And I digest a lot of podcasts, and every single podcaster that I listen to, all of which are now very successful, they all say, go back to my earlier episodes. I had no idea what I was doing. They're terrible. You just got to put in the reps. You got to do hundreds. Like, Saralynn, I'm committed to doing 500 of these episodes, which is going to take me years.
Amazing. Yeah.
Like, it's going to take me years to get to that point. But
Crazy.
I know that none of this matters. The analytics that I look at on my podcast in the early, like, it's irrelevant.
It's
You got to
irrelevant.
do
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't
It's
mean
just like
anything.
you got to put in the reps. So I
Yeah.
appreciate your insight and, of course, your time. So this is my discussion with Saralynn, aka Tennis Thirst Trap. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
maybe as you grow, I can have you on again sometime and we can compare. We can say, hey, here's where we were in August of 2026. And in the future, you never know.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.